So what's up, everybody? This is your boy Jonathan, and today I wanted to talk to you about the history of the incels, right? And I really wanted to go over the history because I think history is important so we can understand who we are and where we come from, and how to change things. So I believe, so I'm gonna go over it through eras, right? The history of incels, right? So I'm gonna start just before the crack cocaine epidemic, right? And so I consider everything before the crack cocaine epidemic, the normal time period, right? People got married, people had wife and kids, they didn't have smartphones. So the woman didn't feel like she had a lot of options, so it was easier to find somebody. And then also, women were encouraged to have long-term lasting relationships and get married. So if they met somebody, they were more willing to invest and go on a date and figure out what was going on. They didn't play no games back in the day like they do now. They didn't get your number and then never answer you back or flake on dates or stuff. It wasn't like that back in the day because they were told to take it serious. And the other thing is, the men worked and they were supposed to take care of the household, and the women were supposed to take care of the kids. So it didn't really matter what a lot of men looked like. It was kind of like, as long as he got a job, it's all good, right? So it was a little bit easier to find a woman, right? So a lot of people got married to their high school sweethearts. They would find a girlfriend in high school, and by the end of high school, they get married. And that's what happened to my dad, right? Flash forward to the late 70s, early 80s, the crack cocaine epidemic hit, and everybody was on drugs, and there was a lot of drug sales. There was a lot of gang bangers and people getting shot and killed over drugs and gang warfare. And that created the gangster rappers, and that's where modern rap music comes from. And, all of these drug dealers were buying up all these cool clothes and chains and this, that, and the other, and putting that out there in their culture. Like, women want you to have all these chains and all these nice sneakers and this nice car and this, that, and the other, and you get all this by selling drugs. And so they put this image out here that was this unreachable image for a lot of guys, because a lot of men aren't going to be out there selling drugs and making all this money. It's just not going to happen. They put this unreasonable image out there. The other thing they did was they put out this idea of humping and dumping and misogyny. And basically what I mean by that is a lot of these, gangster rappers, they didn't know if they was going to live the next day. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't have normal jobs where they could, just go to work 9 to 5 and then support a family. They were out there gangbanging and selling drugs. So they didn't know what was going to happen to them in the next hour. So it was like, let's just have sex and I'm out. Like, they didn't really care about the women because it's like, they would, like I said, they could possibly be dead or in jail in the next hour. So they're just trying to have sex, not even care. So it's important to note at this time, there was this big push for everybody to get educated, no matter what, because education would keep you off the street and keep you from being a drug dealer. So you had so many people, like including myself, that ended up going to school for bullshit degrees, because the thought was, well, as long as he's in school and learning something positive will come out. That's how you have people like me, getting a degree in dance and trying to major in things like Japanese or like black politics, like that you can't get jobs with, because there was this big push for everybody to go to college to protect themselves from the outside. So after that, you had the whole big thing with Biggie and Tupac, and they died. And when they died, Puff Daddy had came out and he had said, okay, we're going to change the entire culture of this. We're not going to be shooting each other anymore. We're not going to be killing each other anymore. Let's just focus on money and cars and women. And that's what they did. So then they changed the whole thing to just focus on money, cars, and women. And blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And so then, it continued the high expectation. But at this point, what happened was there was some Canadian guys, a.k.a. Owen Cook and Eric Von Markovic, the two, most famous pickup artists who started the basic history of pickup artists, and they wrote the book The Game. They were coming from Canada, and Canada's kind of conservative, and it's hard to get girlfriends over there. So they, learned how to talk to women and get girlfriends and, get one night stands or whatever. And then they found it was the perfect, perfect market would be in America to sell their pickup tactics. And the reason that was the perfect market was because you had a lot of guys, including myself, coming out of the crack cocaine epidemic that weren't allowed to go out and be social. Like, I grew up, I wasn't allowed to be out. I wasn't allowed to go out and be social and talk to women and stuff like that. I had to go to school and go home because I was scared I was being shot because my parents were scared that I would die in the streets. And so then when all that stopped, a lot of men didn't have the social skills, and all of a sudden, Eric Von Markovic and Owen Cook pop out from Canada. It's like, we have all the answers. You can listen to us and get all these girls. So that was the beginning of, the whole pickup artist movement. And during this time, a lot of people were dropping out of school and being homeless just for the chance to find a girlfriend, because a lot of men never seen a girl in their life. And you can even read about the story of Owen Cook, right? Owen Cook, he was traveling around the country, sleeping on people's couches and whatever, being homeless so he can be a pickup artist. And even Julian Blanc was the same thing. Julian Blanc came from Switzerland, and he was doing the same thing. Both of them dropped out of college to be pickup artists. Nick Coe and Eric Von Markovic, one of the originators, he was actually, still living with his parents and going to nightclubs every day and hitting on girls. And so, so basically they had started this pickup movement where it was like teaching guys how to do this, that, and the other to pick up on girls. But the culture had already changed so far because of hip hop that it was like girls, a lot of, young women were more materialistic. And so it was like, pickup artists having to lie and cheat and do this, that, and the other to deal with, materialism, right? But at this time, the pickup artists were still teaching men how to take a girl out on a date, how to ask her out, get her number, take her out on a date. But then what happened was Tinder came. And Tinder changed everything and online dating changed everything. And smartphone, of course, smartphone came out, and girls had men at their fingertips. So now when girls have men at their fingertips, you could get a number and they'll claim they want to go out with you, but a lot of times they'll flake because they have a million other options and they'll get distracted. So that's where the idea of pulling came from. And pulling is the idea to try to get a woman home as soon as possible. And like I said in a lot of videos, girls don't know you. They're not trying to take you home right away. They don't know you. And so then you get this incel problem because they can't pull because, like I said, the girls don't know them. They can't take them home right away. And then also you have the just the online dating and cell phones. It's like killing the chances for a lot of people. And so now you have this incel problem where incels are running around, acting crazy and posting crazy misogynistic stuff and ready to kill people over sex. So But, you know, I'm here to help change that. So, yeah. So that was a brief history. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like what I talk about, subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'll get back to you. All right, everybody, I'm out. Peace.